This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio. When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. In the darkest of nights, gonna let my light shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die.
What is up, everyone? It's Saturday night, and I'm your Sorcerer Supreme on TruthFrequencyRadio.com. We are live, and I am here with my etheric translator, Paula Milo.
Hey, everyone.
I bet everybody thought I was going to say something else completely. Like, oh, Josh is back in the room.
No, maybe soon, though.
Oh, absolutely. I'm bringing everyone on the show soon. We're going to do like a round robin of the last couple of stories. Well, before we start anything, I got a shout out to Chris and Cherie Gio.
Love you.
Love you. Without you guys, we would never be here doing this, especially like this. I don't think we'd be doing any of this, anything at all, actually. I think I'd just be sitting in a corner doing nothing. No, I'm just kidding. Check it out. If you like me as a hip-hop artist and you like my music, check out Heistclick, HEISTCLICK. And Paula, you know what one of the best parts about Truth Frequency Radio is?
The app. You can get the app. Get
Yes.
a subscription.
Yes, and you can sign up.
Sign up.
You can get all the episodes. We're on number 42, I think. Wherever you are, then you could make it TFR.
Yeah,
Look at that. Sorry.
That's awesome. We have an anniversary coming up, right?
We're not even a year.
Almost a year. But it's almost a year, right?
Right. Yo, it took me a year to get the pair to do this.
I know.
And I've had radio shows that lasted years before, like the International Heist radio show and stuff. It was years. But this, I was deathly afraid of talking my business like this. To you, it's no problem. I'll just tell you, right? Well, but the stories are so outrageous.
Again, Frank's cat's going crazy. Not my cat. Frank's
Sent to
cat.
yourself, cat. So here's my disclaimer. This is the story of my journey and my journey alone. I don't suggest you try this at home alone, that is, unless you're ready. Then by all means proceed. But first, we suggest finding a reputable shaman who knows what he or she is doing and travel safe in the love and the light. Remember, the universe rewards bravery. So shout outs to the chat room. Shout out to my peeps that are going under soon, drinking the tea.
Yes.
Shout outs to yous that got the urge to go find Mother Earth and tell her, hey, I'm alive, I'm here. I hope you didn't forget me, and have her grab you by the face and say, forget you? How could I forget you? I love you so much. Because that's really what goes on. Look at your face. You're like filled with love tonight.
Who, me?
Oh, yeah.
I'm always filled with love.
Let me ask you a question. I got some questions I want to ask you.
You want to ask me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So how have you been feeling lately? Because this is what I'm getting at. Ascension symptoms.
I had a few eye-opening moments this week. Things were made very clear through some chaos, and I basically had to check myself and say none of this is important. Stop using excuses. And I know that was through the help of an outside entity.
That's incredible. It seems like we're having a problem with the sound. You could see the chat room just lit up. saying that
okay.
the actual sound is having an issue. I can't shut down the show because if I stop the show, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done for a little bit.
Um,
It'll take too long to reboot everything up. So maybe I don't actually have it. I don't actually have anything I can do about it at the moment, unless you guys want me to shut it down and restart the show. But
I don't think you should do that. I don't think you should do that just in case we can't get back on.
Right. We'll just speak up and try to hang in there.
And chat room folks, just monitor us so that we know what we sound like. Just let us know.
Okay, it's good then. We can do this.
Okay.
All right. So I'm asking you about the ascension questions because some of the things that have been happening in the past week and a half have been, excuse me, mind-blowing in terms of my connections to you.
Oh, definitely. You held ceremony last week and with a few of our friends, and I experienced what you experienced, what you had to work through, and I was at work. So I don't know how that
So
happened.
you're saying that you're feeling what I'm going through, or
all the time. It's so strange now.
I can feel things like the connection with you, like you're coming home, and it's like, oh, there she is, and it's not even that I'm looking at a watch or anything.
No, I feel it too when as I'm driving home. It's ridiculous. We sound like twins. It's been really weird. The finishing of the sentences, the thinking the word before someone says it, that's been pretty heightened recently.
Right. Well, one of our team members have been saying that we are experiencing coming together and becoming one. These are symptoms of. I gotta. You mean I gotta have a beard like that? But yes,
No.
we start to bond on a higher level, on a higher frequency, because the energy's shifting, it's changing. We're leveling up. The next stage in our evolution is the connection to the person standing with you, or the person standing closest to you, friends, family, etc.
Oh yeah. We've our little circle of friends. We've all been experiencing it. Very strange.
Definitely strange, but they're called ascension symptoms. So I want you guys out there to start wondering, start thinking about, am I experiencing this? And I know as humans, we can give ourselves symptoms, which isn't really good. Like, oh, I have that. Oh, I have that. But really, think about this. Take a deep breath. Like I've been showing you all the time. I've been grounding with you. We discuss this over and over again, and then see next to you. Right next to you, what do you feel with the person next to you?
What are you feeling? Yeah.
Your feelings won't lie. Your gut is going to react, right? Like your spider sense. Oh, I love this person. I care. See if they turn their head and smile. Smile at them. See if you feel more of a connection. These things are important because this is how we do it. This is how we level up.
They're very subtle, small things that make up larger things. And collectively, we're all getting together and feeling these things and acting on them. That's what's happening. It's a very strange time right now.
It's a fantastic time to be alive. And those of you that are listening understand that this is a time where now we're on the rise. We were the fallen angels. This is how the stories get distorted. We came down from the high realms to the furthest from source, and then worked our way back over a ridiculous amount of time, causing amnesia, different things. The landscape was completely different. The people were different. Where you're from is not even from here. Most people know this that are star seeds. There's a high percentage of people, or, I've seen it, but I always say it's like 80%. It's never like 100% are off planet. Some are brand new souls for the first time, and they're experiencing human, whereas others have been around infinitely. Like there's also fresh new souls. There's so much happening here. The children, I'm finding out, of also wide awake. They can feel it. If you have a kid, hang out with it and, hang out with it. Sorry, I don't have kids, so for me it's a little different. Okay, excellent. So that's where you're going to find your connection with the children, with, you know, what's funny? My grandmother, she's starting to go, right? But she's like having a little bit of a little
starting to die. She's starting to lose her memory a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like, you know.
Yeah, she's not going anywhere. She's just fine right where she is.
But she's like very open
Yes.
to talk to.
Yes.
So I found a really intense connection with her. You know, when I talk UFOs and stuff, it's real interesting. And then I slip some of this stuff in there. I just slip it in, you know, every time I tell you when I work with someone, you know, I'm always helping people. She's like, yeah, I'm like, it's because I'm a shaman. I take them to the other side. I let them see the spirit world. But it's the coolest thing. And what it does is help everyone. And she's like, well, if it helps, you got to do what you got to do. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Viola. So the connections are there. Start making them again. You know, a lot of times we want to pull away from people. We feel that we can go somewhere else, far away from our problems and, you know, never have to deal with that stuff again. But honestly, there are some things you have to become indifferent about. But it's best to face your issues, not to ignore them and run away, because they tend to follow you everywhere you go.
They'll keep following you.
I ran once. I ran really far and fast to Florida. And there was a lot of F's. But I went down there and I found that it gets worse when you have no support system.
Because you took your trouble with you. You took the mindset that you had here, and you took the fear that you were trying to escape from here and bring it somewhere else and think that you were going to have a different outcome. But you actually relived the same outcome.
Yeah. It started cute.
Yeah.
And then became
ugly.
It became exactly what it was before I left and why I left to begin with.
Right. Because you took yourself with you.
So much fear. I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
We, you know, the show's Fearless for a reason.
Right. How
it's
much
not that I don't have fear. It's that I'm filled with fear and I don't want it anymore.
No,
so I'm
you don't
going
need it.
fearless.
Yeah. Let it go.
You know, a lot of people look up to me and they write me, oh, I don't know how you do it. Or, you know, I've been there once or twice and I've seen some stuff. I don't know how you deal with that. And I'm like, I'm tired of being like there's you can be a rebel against the system and all that. I need knowledge.
Right.
I can't be on this planet and go, you know, hey, you know, F the government, F the police, and F this and F that and F that. And I don't even know who I am.
Right.
Who am I to be telling you, you know, anything? I don't judge anyone. I'm done with that. No drama. We laugh so much about drama.
Yeah, we try to minimize it. You know, I mean, it's hard. The hardest thing
You're never going to escape everything.
Yeah.
But what you can do is figure out a new way to deal with it.
Right.
One of my things is, and we're going to talk about this, is that, you know, the next few episodes of last week's episode is about making your connection strong. There's so many around you that you feel you need and that you don't need. And the ones that you need, sometimes you'll be like, I don't want to be bothered with you. I don't have time for this. I have other things, right? You have to open up your lines of communications and see what's best for you and what's going to work for you right now. What friends are really friends? What family is acting of higher purpose, right? Gather your team, no drama team, and then bring that team into the fold. Rely on each other a little bit. Try to trust a little bit in one another. Don't lash out so quickly at people. We're all sick. Everyone's sick.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, and then shaman are like sick people that can heal themselves.
Right.
You know, I'm shaking right now.
Yeah, because it's true.
When I was so sick. I'm still sick. But you live with me. For as bad as I am, I should be not mobile.
No, you're let's put it this way. You're doing a hell of a lot better than last year. Last year, you couldn't even sit in a chair that long.
So with doctors' treatments, and I'm not saying go out and find a shaman and you know, do ayahuasca if you have really bad pain. What I'm saying is understand, excuse me, understand your situation and then go at it from an intelligent perspective.
Right.
You have to, because they'll keep you on drugs. The tramadol article that came out, I don't remember what website put it out, but I read an article and it said tramadol, the prescription drug for pain, also has an antipsychotic in it, right? So people are getting crazy and it's killing people. It's like the biggest prescription. All right. When I got hurt, they handed me so much of this stuff that I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, I got to take all this. So with understanding my injury and then taking my own efforts, steps into my own hands, right? Like, this is what I was thinking. If you have the ability to go to a state and you feel like you're sick, right? You don't know, maybe you do, like onset of something, or maybe you have some chronic illness, and you know, like right next door to you, or, you know, people take vacations all the time. Taking a vacation where you go to a place where marijuana is legal and having a treatment done, you know, that's just a benefit for health-wise for people now. You can take it into your own hands where no one else is. Someone with cancer can, as they're figuring out in the beginning stages, like, oh, what am I going to do? I have cancer, right? Now, there's a lot of feelings and emotions that go into that, but the medical marijuana treatments, you can start that and you can get your hands on that and in front of a person that understands that pretty quickly in the United States. And you can have that process start while you're still figuring out what you're going to do and see if it helps. It will benefit you in every way, shape, and form.
But again, there's so much fear even around that. I mean, even having a discussion about marijuana should be legal, should not be legal. Where is it legal? Where is it not legal?
Listen,
people are so afraid to talk about it because of how the government feels about marijuana.
Right.
Meanwhile, people drink and drive, and people drink and do things all the time that they're not supposed to. You know, alcohol is legal. You know, I mean, I agree. I don't understand. I really don't understand.
It is very weird. People have these weird feelings about it. But look, everyone listening to the show right now understands that I would tell you to go drink ayahuasca, you know, but there's a reason for it. I did it for pain. Right. I didn't do it to see anything like that. I thought that would be cool, but I didn't.
Right.
I don't want to get scared to my core.
No.
Like, that's frightening. But I went and did it for pain reasons, and it completely keeps me where I can still move around and do everything I need to do and not have to take any pills at all.
And when you do have to take them sometimes, but it's not like an everyday occurrence like it was.
I don't remember the last time there was 1 3-day period when it got really cold and I have bad arthritis in my hands and they lit up. Mm-hmm. And I was going, wow, that hurt more than my neck and my back, which is amazing. Every time I go under, they do weird things like they tug on something or they pull, right? That sounds funny, but they'll do it at the base of my spine. And I'll be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you touching my like that? Oh my God, that felt great.
Right.
And they'll go, well, we can't just grab it and kind of move it. We got to kind of play the game. And I'm like, just show me how to do it. And we're going to get into that in a minute. I'll do it myself, but I appreciate the help. This last week's story that I started is very supernaturally scary to me. It freaked me out on so many levels. I'm going to rehash real quick what we talked about last week. Okay. I want to get into this because everyone complained it last week. They were like, it ended perfectly. Don't make us wait again for the story.
Right.
Okay. So I was being told that I had to make the connections with my team much stronger. Then I was allowed to see my team from a different level. And that allowed me the ability to understand what they were talking about, what everyone was talking about, everyone's positions, like a higher level.
Right.
Okay. So I went into this and I said, I want to know about a few things. I want to know about the eclipse that's coming in August. I want to know about the eclipse that just happened the other day. I want to know about telepathy. I want to consciously in the ether create a room that my allies can meet me in along with the people in the room with me. where we can hold that space and have a meeting. And it's time to like not individually talk to them or whatever. Let's have a meeting, all of us.
Right.
But and I asked if I can see my guides. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I actually did that up front. I said, "Hey, can I see my guides?" Because there's a robed guide that's been hanging out with me. I figured out who it is. I don't want to give it away just yet, but he just looks at me and I can't really see his face, but he's not harmful. But he's wearing like a dark robe. But when it's almost like he's hiding the light inside, right? Like if he opened his robe, it would just shine light. But he's been working with me, and I was kind of curious to who this is. And when I asked this, like a deck of cards that you would fan out, they all appeared in front of me. There were so many. And I was like, "Are you guys serious? Are you serious?" And they were like, "Yo, we're very serious." And I said, "There's too many. They keep coming." And they kept, but they wouldn't stop to show me any one. And then I noticed the one that's been in the robe is the guy standing next to my left. And I'm going, "Oh, all right, you're here." And then he looks at me, and I see he has blue eyes. Blue, like super blue. They kind of pierced through me a little bit. They said to me about a few things. They said, "You guys are not ready. But there's something we want to show you," like me specifically. So I saw a spaceship, super advanced looking, and the being, it was made of metal. It looked like a robot. It was alive, and it approached me. It had 4 legs, and then as it moved, then it had 6, and then it had 4 again. It had a head on it like Johnny 5 from that robot movie, right? Short Circuit. Except it only had 1 eyeball, and it was red. And it didn't look like Johnny 5, like the way Johnny looked like he's like an imitation robot. This thing was transforming metal. I saw the spaceship. It came from land. I'm just rehashing this from last week so we could just catch up. And it was in my left field of vision. So it came over to me, and I freaked out a little bit. And I said, "Oh, look, it's a little robot, you know?" And it grabs me by the shoulders. And this red thing comes out of what I thought was its chest, because it kept transforming, like it was standing upright with me once it grabbed me. And I said, "Okay, hey, buddy," like, "Hey, buddy." And then I pushed, I said, "No, get off of me." And that red thing on its chest came out and tried to connect to my chest. And I grabbed it and threw it back. Then it jumped and I threw it down. I screamed no out loud. "No, what do you like?" So he kind of goes off to my left side and just stops. And there's the robed guy again. He's like, "What's going on?" I said to him, "Hey, check it out. Not connecting to the artificial intelligence. Not doing it. Absolutely done after what happened the last time." And he just said, "That's not the artificial intelligence." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "We're going to do something." Now, I'm going to tell my version of the story, and then I have notes. And then we'll just go over them quick. Okay. All right? Because it's just a deep, interesting thing. So I say no to him. The robot comes off to the side. I see another robot come from the right. It's about 10 feet tall. I know this sounds funny, but it looked like something you'd see in a comic book, like a superhero robot. Like there's a guy inside it almost that's going to save you, like Iron Man, but bigger, but more like 1950s looking, you know, with its arms at its side, like Superman kind of has that look, like I am here to save the day. So it said to me, the robed character said, "Hey, go over there and hug him." And I was like, "Absolutely not. Not hugging the robot." He goes, "I want you to go over there and hug the robot right now." So I said, "Okay."
It's a little scary.
Yeah, I'm going over the notes as I'm talking. That's why I'm taking a step, because I want to make sure. All right, I kept thinking this robot's going to kill me as soon as I go over to it, but it looks so awesome. So I ran up to it.
Because you're curious too.
No, it had an emblem, like the S on its chest and stuff. Like it looked innocent but powerful. I went up to this thing and I hugged it from its waist to chest area. Like I couldn't get my arms up on its chest. So I just tried to like hook under it. And I was like, hey, robot, buddy, superhero guy, I love you. And here's a hug. And this thing smashed my face with its fist down onto my head and crushed me. And then I was a little ball, but I was now the observer of that. Right. And I said, I told you what it was going to do. These things don't like us. And then he's like, okay, now you see that guy over there on your left? And I look over and there's the other guy. He's transforming. He's just staring at me with that one eye. He goes, I want you to go over there and I want you to hug him. And I'm like,
I need a minute.
You guys sure? You think that's a good idea that I go over there and do that? I'm reading the notes. It's like, you sure this is a good idea because of what just happened? But I didn't feel any pain when it crushed me. So I go, all right, we're going to try something different this time. I kind of crept over to the robot and I was thinking to myself, I'm going to do this real gingerly, but hey, little guy, how's it going, buddy? And I kind of tiptoed up to him like, and he presented his head forward. So his head was like a box shape with an eye right in the middle. So I'm like, hey, buddy, like, I'm beginning to shake again because they make you kind of walk this path sometimes where you're like, they're going to make you touch this thing. So I walk up to it and I put my arms around its head and I say, hey, little guy, I love you. And he looks at me and goes, I love you too. So when we come back from the break, we're going to talk more about how this robot has the ability to love me.
We are TFR.
My faith in destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? It's a dream. It's a dream. A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world. Thought you were alive until you felt my pain.
Okay, we're back. I'm excited. Just reading the notes. And I'll just pick up on the notes here. The transforming robot extends its head towards me with its box-shaped head and one red eye. I slowly make my way over suspiciously and cautiously hug the head and said, I love you. The red eye looked at me and it said, I love you too. But I can feel it. This was this freaked me out so bad. The robot was alive. It was 100% alive. It was moving. It could it was so weird. Like extra arms were just being made out of its chest to come closer to me. And I was going, oh no. Yeah,
No, you're getting emotional over it. It's okay. Just take a second.
All right. So I freaked out a little bit and the guide pulled everything out of the frames completely.
Right.
So everything goes black. And in that, I'm going, robots that are alive? Are you kidding me? Well, I had more choice words. I was freaking out.
And you know better to even think that. You know, of course.
That's what I was getting at.
Of course they exist.
I never thought. Right. Of course. Even me. I get caught up in this craziness.
Because that's how surreal it is. That's understandable.
So I go, it was funny though. I remember going, oh, I'm not ready for this, but I'm ready for that. And I remember how much that freaked me out. But I'm going to read right off the notes. So I go, what's going on? Where did everyone go? And here comes the robed figure again. They are gone because you said no. Do you know who that was? I don't know. Why? But for some strange reason, I feel that that was me.
Right.
Was that me?
Mm-hmm.
Was that ship my family? And then I started freaking out because my guide says, yes, that was you and that was your family. I said, they're alive.
Mm-hmm.
They're alive. You have to bring them back. I started screaming, bring them back. I want them back. I'm sorry. I must have said I'm sorry 100 times. And as I said, I'm sorry, bring them back, bring them back. The guide looked right at me and he said, no, we're not bringing them back. You said no. That's it. And I said, oh, this is ridiculous. So I finally find someone that's alive. I finally bite my fear. And they're like, you said no so many times that we had no choice but to do what we did.
At that time, you don't get to see them again.
Yes, they also did. See, I got worried. And then when I came out of it, I said, what do you know, that's messed up. You guys know how I react. And they're like, listen, we can't. If you say no, we can't. You're like, no, no, no,
Right.
no, no,
There
no.
are rules.
Yeah, we're not allowed to.
Right.
And I'm like, oh man, my bad. I didn't mean no like that. I meant I don't want to attach to you. It didn't mean I want to leave the room. And they're like, you can't put all that crap on the word no.
No, you can't.
No means no.
You're going to see them again. You'll have another opportunity to see them again. You just weren't ready at that time. That's why the Aya helps. Because, and I'm going to butcher this because I'm not a scientific person at all, but when you drink the Aya, it is not only an etheric or a spiritual experience that you're having, but it really does help the neural pathways in your brain or the neuroreceptors. Like I said, I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but those connections or reconnections allow you to remember things you could not remember before. So feelings, experiences, even physical pain, why we hold on to physical pain. So the more you drink, the more connections that are being made or remade.
Remade, exactly.
So you will be able to go in.
You're not butchering this, by the way. You're actually explaining it very, very clearly.
Well, thank you. But you will be able to go back and see them again at another time. You just were not ready that particular time.
Like every time they throw me out, they go, you have to leave and you can't come back, but you can come back tomorrow.
Right.
That's what they tell me. Come
Because
back again later.
You were not ready to submit. So you're not going to be ready in 30 minutes to submit. You need now time out of the experience.
Like a child, time out.
Your physical body and your mind and your brain to process what had happened.
Some people wig out.
Yeah.
Some people go, what the,
Yeah. Well,
other people just fall and cry. Others just stand there and can take it.
But the more you submit to the experience,
The better it gets.
the easier it gets. But it's our human fears that we're connected to. That's why we have to let the fear go. That's why the show is called Fearless. When I had met Frank, he was afraid of everything. And I don't mean this in a, not
like a baby, but
not like a baby, but
I did have
he
some
had
issues.
all of these fears in his mind, and it's like, okay, I get that you're afraid of sharks, but we live in the Bronx. Like, you're not going to walk down the avenue and a shark is going to attack you. So why don't we just put that one in a file cabinet in your mind somewhere for now? And then he was like, you know what, that makes sense. And then now you don't have a fear
Well,
about
no. On the Aya, they made me swim with sharks, and they were like, you're not afraid of sharks. You're afraid to get eaten by a big-faced monster.
Right.
And I went, right. So they're like, any big-faced monster, it would suck.
Right.
Right. So I'm like, well, yeah. They're like, all right, well, you're not in that situation, right? So what are you worried about?
In your day-to-day,
like while we're doing the show, I shouldn't be worried about getting bit by a shark because I have no intention of being in the water and or around them unintentionally, though.
Yeah,
like it's just where we live.
In a concrete jungle. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, like we'll be in a pool before we'll ever see, anything else.
So check that fear. Get rid of it. You don't need it anymore. Let it go. And then you make room for other stuff to come in.
Well, what happens is you purge that, and I talk about purging all the time, and everyone knows it's either throwing up or going number 2, but it's also, poop, but also it's purging the feeling from you, that thought, like all right, those that are afraid of spiders, right? Or have like a crazy fear or something like that, you know, like I can't go out in the street and actually look anyone dead in the face.
Right.
Like people have issues with all kinds of stuff. When you break it down, you can acknowledge the issue
Yes.
and say, hey, is this thing going to kill me right now?
Right.
No. Okay. Oh, whew. Okay. Is this thing going to hurt me right now? Okay. Let me take it back a step.
Yep. Yep. What is the possibility of this?
Is it going to
Yes.
eat my face right now?
Right.
Oh, but it definitely could crawl up on me. No. Right now, during the show, nothing can happen. So
Right.
you shouldn't acknowledge the fear.
No.
It doesn't even belong here.
Because when you feed the fear,
It's giving it energy.
Yeah, you give it energy. We had an issue right before the show. There's always an issue. We had an entity in the apartment again, and Frank was getting extremely irritated, and I was like, this is not gonna do. I'm not gonna have another episode before the show.
No, this is gonna sound weird, but you watched it. You watched me like trip.
I watched
but except
it pushed
my
you.
tooth. No, he grabbed whatever it was, grabbed my heel because
Yes.
I stepped forward and I didn't trip over my feet. It grabbed my left foot.
Yes.
And I stumbled forward like, what was that? And I turned around. I'm like, damn, something's in here. That thing just touched me. And I wasn't playing a game where, oh, it reached out and grabbed me. Ha, ha, ha. And I really tripped. This thing touched me. And then I saw something kind of wiggle off. And I thought it was Oscar.
Right.
And I go,
The
wait.
cat.
I look right across the room and Oscar's just staring at me. And I'm going,
Like you're gonna do something about that.
oh yeah, like when the cat looks at you and then looks around and then looks
Yeah.
back at you, you're like, oh man, oh there's something in here. But I went to the this place called BJ's today. Every time I go there, I get sick.
It's a wholesale club.
It's a wholesale club.
Yeah, that's
We
why I
were
usually go
grocery
there.
shopping, right? But it's just too many consciousnesses
Yeah,
jammed
in one
that are in
spot.
a really crappy mood in one spot, and I can't take it.
Because it becomes a consciousness. It becomes just a nasty, mean consciousness. So I usually leave you home. But today,
I
were
was
amazing.
smiling. No, it was
Smiling.
all the same.
You had your protection on.
I had my protection on, but that doesn't mean something can't follow you back.
No,
That's
it doesn't.
that you shine so bright as someone who understands this
Yes.
info. It's something that you can't help.
No,
You shine.
they want to see what that's all about.
This is
So-
why I teach protection and grounding and protection and over and over and over again.
So this entity almost tripped you,
And then
which I think was the same entity that almost tripped me last week. And I had a bottle of oil in my hand. It was like it knocked the bottle of oil right out of my hand. It was hysterical. And
well, we host a lot of friends and
yeah,
stuff.
and
So
we
we are
had
always
clearing
coping with
stuff.
the
So
after effects here.
we ended up lighting sage, and then I said it has to go.
Oh, I felt it leave. I was sitting at the desk and
Yeah.
I literally couldn't work. I couldn't actually get anything done. I felt like this thing was driving me nuts.
Yep.
But you ran your hands over me and it wasn't in me.
No, it wasn't in you.
I was
It
going,
did-
no,
it
it's
didn't
not
work.
me.
It did nothing.
It's not me. I said, I'm just actually feeling like this. And then boom, it was gone. And I went, I feel great. As soon as it happened,
Because I said it was not allowed to stay.
you know, guys, acknowledge this stuff and don't sit in it. So
No,
when you
Don't
all right,
stand for it.
check
Just
this
say,
out.
unless you are here to strictly observe, you are not welcome to stay in this area with me. You're not welcome to share this space with me. You must go. And it left.
When it left, it was like a veil got pulled out of this place and things just changed. But acknowledge, I want you guys to acknowledge when you're feeling crappy and depressy, right? And then you're like, I don't know why I feel that way. And then you get the good vibe back, right? Ride that vibe back. Don't go, screw that. I'm going to just be depressive, emo, whatever. Don't go there that day. Try something different and watch what happens. When you ground yourself and do certain things, you change your brain chemistry when you think differently. It's the way it works. You're shifting chemicals. No, you know what? I'm not going to decide to be emo Frank today. I'm just going to get up and say, hey man,
Yes,
I love you.
Set your intention.
Like, I love you, and here's my intention. I'm going to do it. And if everything gets in my way, instead of saying, everything's in my way, damn me, I never get a break. Wrong. When you start going, oh, it's moving around today, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I got one for you guys. I'm about to set my intention. You ground yourself, set your intention.
Right.
One of your intentions will be, hey, my allies, how about we remove some obstacles?
Yeah.
Forces that work with me bring me, even greater clarity, protection, healing, safe space so I can think for a minute.
Clear a path for me. Make this easy. Make this an easy day. Help clear my path.
One time when I was broken on they showed me some weird stuff, and I did just what you said, right? Like it looked like the truck from Mad Max that has the piece on the front of the truck that can knock anything out of the way, right? So the plow on the truck. And they were all hanging on the truck, all like the guys with shaved heads and the mohawks, and they were screaming, but they were cheering for me.
Right.
And they drove through that fear that was holding me back and hurting what was making me hurt and cry.
Right.
It just blasted through that. And I went, guys, that's interesting that you did that, because I know that wasn't me. And they go, well, we know you react certain ways.
Right.
So we sent the Mad Max truck to you. We thought you'd think it's cool as it's blasting through. I said, yeah, I felt hopeless. And then that came through. I want you guys to know there's a big grateful thank you for that, because like, if you guys don't make the hole for it to pass through sometimes, I didn't think I could exist anymore in this place.
But that's all you have to do.
And they say all it takes is a thought.
Right. Just one thought.
You can catch something out of the corner of your eye and become a believer.
But even if you don't, let's say you don't. Let's say there are people listening to us right now saying, you know what, they're two crazies, but they're telling a fun story. Say you don't believe it. The processes that we're going through, it just
it's like
helps,
super self-help.
It just helps get through the regular
people,
day-to-day activities.
If it's entities helping you, if it's the deities helping you,
if it's the angels
or if it's the angels, or if it's just you hearing you talk and it's just you helping you, that's fine.
That's fine.
If you don't hear nobody and you're like, I'm just going to do it myself, it's good. Do it yourself. Just don't be a jerk to the person next to you, because they're doing it their way. Remember, we're sharing the space.
And that's basically it. Start there. Just really think, when you say, Frank, use discernment, it is so true, because if we all minded our business just a little bit more and maybe waited a second or two before we made the next statement, there would be a lot more ease amongst us.
Absolutely. I've had interactions with people where they thought the wrong thing immediately and said something so outrageous, like, what, you want to do this right here? And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. They're like, oh, you look a certain way or whatever. I'm like, you're just tight, man or woman. Like, you don't know what I'm thinking. But to react that way means you have a serious issue.
But we have a lot of friends that feel it. We have family that feels this way also.
I know.
About us. They think we're two weirdos. They have, we just sit around and do drugs all the time. And that's
check this out.
The farthest thing.
This is what I do. I go, even if I have nothing to say, but I'm approached or talked to, I always say, hey, look, it's great to see you.
Right.
I'm so happy you're doing whatever. Or if it's not good, say, my heart is with you.
Right.
And I care about you, and that's either great or not great. And give them your love and move on.
Yeah, move on.
That's
Don't
it.
Think about it again. The connection has already been made. Don't hang on to the ties forever.
Don't let them box you into the corner with the and the drama and the and the woe is me and the You know when you got to be compassionate.
Absolutely. And when the voice inside your head is more important than the voice of other people,
that's when you're doing it right.
That's when you're doing it right.
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter what anybody thinks. It really shouldn't. It's your life. It's your movie. It's your story to tell. When people say, oh, the world doesn't revolve around you. Well, it does in your universe. You are the center of your universe.
Absolutely.
What is happening in your world is happening to you.
Thus making you important. Remember to love yourself. That's a big one.
Yes.
So, yeah. I think about how to explain to people the magic. And I'm like, it starts
But
with loving
this is
yourself.
it.
And they
Yeah,
go,
no, but
you
that's it.
hippie. And I go, all right, you want me to start with something else? You got to drink ayahuasca. And they go, I ain't drinking. I go, well, you can choose to love yourself now or drink that and she'll teach you how to love yourself.
Let me tell you something. I tell myself every day in the mirror, you pretty girl. Just because it makes me feel better. Now, of course, I don't look at my butt every day in the mirror, but yes, this makes me very happy, because it starts with loving yourself. If you do not love yourself, you are incapable of loving another person. If you do not love yourself, you cannot have anyone truly love you.
Yeah, and if you're giving out love and not loving yourself, right? Like people have animals and they're like, I just love my animal so much, but I don't know how to clean myself, in the shower, right? And you go, listen. You got to clean up. And they're like, no, well, I give all my love to this thing or to this person or to this animal. And you're like, no. You're wearing you down because you're pouring your love into this thing without giving yourself
any love back.
You have to have self-love, even if the animal's licking your face and everything. And usually the house of those people is filthy and disgusting and dirty.
Well, why are we talking about animal lovers?
I'm just using that as an example because you have to love you. Like you can't go, I love myself, and live in your apartment has 3 inches of dust everywhere and you're choking and there's animal stuff on the floor and you're not cleaning up after stuff and your screen is dirty on your computer. Like the mix of things where you're just like, oh, I can't have anyone ever come in here. Now, look, I have toys all over here. It's a little messy and everything, but the place is clean, right? So if we were going to do something in here, it's like, you can do what you need to do in a clean, safe space.
Yeah.
Junk and clutter creates junk and clutter on the other side. It creates attachments and things. You'll feel like the world is closing in on you around this crap.
The universe picks up how you feel, not how you say you feel. So if you're saying you feel one way, but you really don't feel that way, the universe can only pick up what you feel because, again, it's all vibration.
It's self-respect for yourself. You clean up. You do what you got to do. You stay on top of it. You make it a routine. Look, I tell people, you want to humble yourself? You want to meditate? And I don't know how to meditate. Wash dishes. You'll be meditating. And don't complain. Just take a deep breath, maybe put some light music on, and wash all the dishes by hand. When you're done, you're going to be humbled and you're going to have a safe spot in your mind for you, not for all the other junk. And you can't be a whiny bitch no more. You got to have self-responsibility. All right, here's my second purge of the evening or that day. I want to get this in.
We're going back into it.
Well, because I'm looking at the time because I know what people are saying.
Good.
Okay, and my second purge, reading right off the page now, a being made of all different colors, grabs me and turns me on my side. Mind you, I was crying. And it looked like he stuck his fist in me from my sacred chakra. I want to say my other stuff, but because that's what it looked like to me. But the whole area was lit up. And I was like, what are you doing? This is disgusting. But it was, the energy was like rainbow energies. Right.
Really?
But like thin little lines of blue, then red, then green. Like I was going, this is amazing. Like this energy is awesome. And all right. So he grabs me and then does what you do, like by the throat and turns me on my side. He goes, no, turn over. You can't lay on your back for this. And this was very forceful. It was like a turn over. You can't look away from this. And he whispered into my ear, I know what you are doing. And then takes a deep breath. And then blows the energy
into you,
and it fills me. It like in my feet and explodes out my head, my crown chakra. Awesome. And I'm like, what are you doing? This is so forcefully amazing, though. Like, what's happening? And he goes, well, you guys aren't ready to do anything. Nothing. Nothing that you asked. We're not doing any of it. Not one thing. And I'm like, why? And they're like, you're not ready. I look across the room at my buddy. He looked back at me. His eyes were like mine with a wide open look. And they're like, you look at him. You look at him right now. And I'm like, I'm looking right at him. And they're like, he is so not ready. Right. And I was like, well, he's pretty ready. And they're like, no, he's not. And no, and you're not either. And they turned my head. They're like, why don't you look over at the girl on the couch? Go look. I'm like, I'm looking. She's right there. She's under. She just looks over at me. They're like, yeah, she's not ready. I'm like, but she's under all the time. She knows what's got there. She's not ready. So I'm like, all right. Okay. The being pulls this hand out of me, and I purge again. Blah! Into the bucket. And they go, now you're clear. And I go, what? Wait. I'm literally clear. There's nothing in me. I felt never so good, ever. No matter how harsh these trainings are and these practices. And I went, wait, you just said I'm ready. Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready. And they said, yeah, but you said no so many times. So what you're going to do for the rest of the time, and I turned back from my side and laid on my back. I said, I feel amazing. I literally felt like a baby. I put my feet up in the air and I was wiggling my feet back and forth, and I knew exactly what they were doing. Where I would usually complain and cry and scream because I'm about to be put in an area that Chris and Cherie, Paula, a few others of us call it kindergarten. It's a place where you go get. Nothing will hurt you. Nothing ever hurt you, but nothing will get you either. Nothing. Like you're like just there. Space. It's like the construct in the Matrix where they just put you in the room, but you can do anything you want in the room, right. But you can't leave the room. Right. That's the deal. So you can ask for things and they'll tell you yes or no. So I just laid on my back and I was like, I feel great. I feel great. Wait,
you see, you made the best of your experience.
And I said to them, this was my point. I said to them, hey, you guys always help me with my neck and back. You guys take a look in my body and tell me if I'm sick or if there's anything wrong with me and give me like a good healing clearing. And they're like, we can do that. And I said, oh, look, they said yes. And I laid there, and for like a half hour, they contorted me, twisted me. I did all kinds of weird positions and yoga positions that I didn't even know I could. And they were light, so I didn't hurt myself. But I never felt so good ever. Yeah, when I looked at everyone after it was over, I said, because this is going to go now next week when we do the show, it's going to be the next day. Right. We go in again, and it gets insane. But totally not ready. And now we came out of it and we were sitting there like, whoa, we're so unprepared. We had all this knowledge. And I'm like, yo, now we're ready. We got to come back. In my head, they were like, come back tomorrow and we'll talk tomorrow. And I went, we're ready. We're ready. So I started to get super excited for the next day right away. I didn't have that weirdo nervousness. Right. But I pushed the boundaries this time, guys. I did something that we're going to talk about next week that I've never thought I would ever be able to do or accomplish or try to accomplish. It's going to kind of co-cross with what Chris and Dennis McKenna were talking about at the very end of their show.
Last week,
bringing out the transcendental object at the end of time. Well, I think next week we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about Jacob's Ladder and friends and trust. And bringing it back home again, because it's not out there. It's in here. It's inside of you. It's inside of me. We're it, guys, and we're breaking through together. Thanks for joining us tonight. I love you so much. Say good night, Paula. We love you guys. We're your protection from deception. Yeah, boy.